Hi, I'm Kristine Weber, and this is a sample subtle yoga class that will help your students to build greater resilience in the nervous system and to optimize the function of their brains and to help better cope with the stressors of life. So let's go ahead and begin. I want to start with mountain pose, so you can stand with your feet underneath your knees and your knees underneath your hips, arms by your sides. And take a moment here. Just let a little bouncing come into your knees and a little movement into your shoulders. So you're just kind of wiggling, very little, slight little wiggling until you can allow your body to come into stillness for just a few breaths. So when you come into that stillness, we'll take a moment here. You're welcome to soften or close your eyes, and we'll breathe in deeply. And let your exhale be nice and long and smooth and complete. Okay. So when you're ready, the next practice we're going to do is separate our feet slightly and then start to find a little swinging twist. So you can allow the arms to start to swing, and the opposite hand can, or rather the back hand can touch your lower back or just give you a little tap in your lower back. And you also may notice that I'm allowing my opposite foot to come up off of the floor, my heel to come up off the floor and kind of pivot on my toes. Just a little gentle swinging. And then as you're swinging, allow your head to move with your shoulders and kind of scan around the room. Just notice everything around you. Noticing the colors and the shapes and any objects that are in your space. And then when you finish your twist, or as you start to finish your twist, kind of slow it down. And allow your arms to come back to your side. Walk your feet back so you come back into that mountain pose again. Give it a little wiggle, a little jiggle around. Then allow yourself to come back to stillness again. And again, go ahead and find the slow smoothness of your breath. It doesn't have to be the deepest breath you ever took. Just a nice, slow, smooth breath, and the exhale is really full and complete. Okay, next we're going to do a moving mountain pose. So as you inhale, let the arms float up over your head and float up off of your heels. So you don't have to come way up off of your heels. It could just be a little bit. The arms rise up over your head. So we'll use that as an inhale, and as you exhale, completely come all the way back down. Yeah. So let's try that again. So inhaling up, and feel free to find a place to focus your eyes somewhere on the floor in front of you or on the wall. So you're just noticing the smooth movement of the body. Now, the next time that you go up into this moving mountain, we'll stay here for just maybe 1 or 2 counts. And then exhaling, floating back down. Good. And let's do that 2 more times. So as you inhale, let the arms float up. And stay here for just a moment. And releasing back down. Last time. Nice, full, smooth breath. You might be going a little faster than me or a little slower than me, and that's just fine. And when you finish this one that you're on, soften or close your eyes and just take 1 breath of awareness. So what sensations do you notice in your body? How do you feel after doing that moving mountain pose? Okay, now we're going to switch up mountain just a little bit. And this time as you inhale, both arms come out to the side, but the right arm keeps going all the way up over your head. See if you can see both hands out of your peripheral vision for some of the time at least, maybe not all the time. And then exhaling, coming back down. Now this time as you go up, let your left hand go all the way up towards the ceiling. And then smoothly come back down to shoulder height and then come back down together. So we're going to do that 1 more time on each side. So the right arm goes all the way up, the left arm just halfway. Good. And then floating back down. And then the next time, the left arm goes all the way up and the right arm just goes halfway. You can always pause for a moment if you liked that feeling too. And then exhaling down. Okay, and after doing all that asymmetry, now see what it feels like to do just 2, both arms up. And both arms down. And see if you feel sort of that sense of completeness after doing the asymmetrical version of that pose. Okay, so this time when you come down and finish, soften or close your eyes. Find a little bounce again, that little rebounding. It's called rebounding. A little bounce. And then allow yourself to come into stillness for at least one long breath. So you use that pause. The pause is just as important as the pose in terms of making brain changes. So it starts to create better map differentiation in the brain when you notice sensations after you do the practice. So the next pose we're going to do is Warrior One, a version of Warrior One. So turn to the side of your mat and step your left foot comfortably back. So the left foot, and it doesn't have to be way back. Make sure that your heel is grounded. Should feel comfortable. We're going to place the right hand on the waist. And then from here, as you inhale, the right knee bends, the left arm goes up. And as you exhale, the left arm floats back down and the right leg straightens, okay? So what we want to do here is feel the connection between your left hand and your right knee. They move together. We're going to do about 6 of these. So on the inhale, bend your right knee, the left arm floats up. And on the exhale, float back down. Keep your back leg grounded, lower abdomen is firm on the exhale. Do it again. Now, one thing you could add here is a little pause at the top of your inhale. Just a slight pause. And then releasing back down. And let's do 2 more. And on the second pose, we're going to stay in the pose. So use your next inhale to get a little taller. This isn't so much a back bend. We're thinking about going up more than back. Exhale, belly is firm. One more breath. And then when you exhale, start to go into a forward bend, maybe halfway down, maybe all the way. It's up to you. And the front leg straightens a bit. And as you inhale, float back up to Warrior One. So try and make the movements really smooth and fluid. The nervous system loves smooth, fluid movements. Exhaling down, inhaling up. Using Ujjayi is helpful here too. We'll do 1 more of these. And then on your last one, we'll stay here in the forward bend. You can let your right hand come down too. As you inhale, let your spine get a little longer. Fingertips or blocks here are great. You can also use your leg. As you exhale, get a little softer. Do 2 more breaths. Okay, you might be breathing faster than me or slower than me. That's just fine. As you inhale, you can use cactus arms to lengthen and come back up. And then release your hands down and step your back foot forward. Okay, so we just did something that was asymmetrical. Right side of the body was doing something different than the left side, right? So after you finish something asymmetrical, you want to stop for a moment and notice the difference between the right side of your body and the left side. How does your right leg feel different than your left leg? How does your right arm and shoulder feel different than your left arm and shoulder? Okay, please turn to face the side of the mat again. And then this time we'll step the right foot comfortably back and place your left hand on your waist. We're going to do the same sequence. Okay, so the main thing here is make sure you're not up on your back toes, but that back heel is grounded. I don't care how long your stance is, it really needs to be comfortable for you. So on the inhale, the right arm floats up, the left knee bends, and experience that connection between your right hand and your left leg. Exhale, they float back down. Do it again. We're going to do 5 more. Okay, now on the next few, if you like, you can try pausing just for a moment up here at the top. Exhaling back down. Connection between your right hand and left leg. Pausing just for a moment if you like. Okay, so now we're on the last one, and this time we're going to stay here for a few breaths. I usually say like 3 to 5. Use that inhale to feel like you're getting longer. And the exhale to feel like the belly is firming here. The connection between the right hand and the left leg. Now this time when you exhale, now go into the forward bend. And you can go halfway. You don't have to go all the way down. It's up to you. And as you inhale, float back up. It's not a goal to go all the way down, right? The goal is to build greater resilience in the nervous system. And that's what we're working with here. Nice, smooth, fluid movements. Okay, we're going to do one more. And this time when you finish, you can stay in the pose and make that choice for yourself. What's more comfortable for you? Thigh, shin, blocks if you like, hands on the floor. It's up to you. Let's take about 3 or 4 breaths here using that inhale to get a little longer in the spine, maybe a little more action in the back of the leg, and the exhale to soften. Okay, and then on your next inhale, we're going to use cactus arms and float all the way up to standing. And release your hands down, step your back foot forward, and now you're back in your mountain pose. So take a moment here in mountain pose and notice. How does your body respond to what we just did? How does the back of your left leg feel different than the back of your right leg? How do your shoulders feel different? Can you notice, can you feel in your nervous system the effects of that asymmetrical practice? Now, symmetry balances asymmetry. So what we're going to do next, kind of a combination of chair pose and a forward bend, is inhale and take your arms up over your head. And as you exhale, bend your knees a lot and place your hands either on your thighs or shins or the floor. And then on the inhale, we'll take the arms into like a cactus and stand all the way up. Exhale down. Smooth, fluid movements. That's what the nervous system loves. One more time. Okay, and the next time, sit down and come into chair pose. Now, if you choose, you could do cactus with your arms if that's more comfortable in your shoulders. Some people like to stretch the arms out in front. You may also prefer to have the arms up over your head. That's fine. Let your weight sink into your heels. Let the belly be firm. Take another breath. And then on your next inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, your arms float down by your sides. And we'll take a moment here to pause and notice. You're welcome to close your eyes. So some of the scientists say that our visual cortex takes up to 70% of our attention. So when you soften or close your eyes, it makes the attention turn inside. So it makes you notice inside. And that internal noticing, which is also called interoception, building that skill has numerous benefits for the brain and the nervous system. So softening, closing the eyes, turning within, noticing. That's what we're trying to do here. The pause is just as important as the pose. When you're ready, allow your eyes to float open. Take a wide stance on your mat. So now we're going to visit Warrior 2. You can turn your left foot towards the left, turn your right toes in a little bit, and let your hands come and rest on your chest. So take a moment and bringing feelings of kindness and compassion into your body with your hands. A nice slow breath here before we start. And then on your next inhale, bend your right knee, extend your arms out to the side. And as you exhale, let your hands float back to your chest, but change which hand touches your chest first. See if you can remember. Let's do it again. Inhale. If you can't remember, that's okay. And exhale. And if you can remember, change which hand touches your chest. Let's do it again. And then change. And this time we'll stay in the pose. So looking out over the fingertips of your right hand, get a little taller, let your spine get taller on your inhale. And use your lower abdomen gently to help release the exhale completely. Last one. And then let your hands come to your chest, straighten your right leg. Turn your feet so they're both facing in the same direction. Soften or close your eyes and take a moment and notice the difference, particularly in the right leg, in the left leg compared to the right leg. Just take a moment and check that out. So when you're ready, please turn your right foot out towards the right. The left toes turn in slightly for warrior two on this side. And so we're going to do the same thing. We'll do it 4 times, just taking a moment to sense the feelings of kindness and compassion. This can be called embodied cognition, where you're bringing feelings of kindness into your body and intentionally, and that creates neuroplastic changes in the brain. So when you're ready, on the inhale, we're going to bend the left knee, extend the arms out to the side, look out the fingertips of your left hand, and as you exhale, bring your hands back. See if you can change which hand touched your chest first. Let's do it again. You might go a little faster or a little slower than me. Okay, we got 2 more. See if you can get that smooth, fluid movement. That's what the nervous system loves. Okay, on this last one, we'll stay in the pose. Again, it's like 3 to 5 breaths about. I mean, you can always do a little more or a little less. It's up to you. The idea of when you stay in the posture, you have that opportunity to create more length in your spine. You also have the opportunity to create a little more strength in the muscles, so that's another good reason for staying in the pose. Last one. And when you're ready, we'll exhale and release the hands back to the heart. Turn your feet so they're both facing the same direction. In a wide stance, you can stay in the wide stance. And then pause and notice. What does the right leg feel like now compared to the left leg? It did something different. Okay, so next I'd like to bring some symmetry into the practice by using a wide-legged forward bend. And this one, we're going to bring our hands to the hips, and we're going to slide our hands up and down the sides of the legs. Using your hands on your body increases both proprioception, which is where is my body in space, and interoception, which is how does my body feel. So it's sending a lot of feedback into your brain. So very useful for creating, for optimizing the nervous system and the functions of the brain. So take a deep breath in, get a little taller. As you exhale, slide your hands down the outsides of your legs. You're welcome to soften your knees a little bit, let go of your head. As you inhale, lengthen the spine, float back up. Oh, here's something we're going to add. As we go down, we'll hum. Inhale back up. Of course, that's called Bhramari Pranayama, the bumblebee breath. Do it again. Floating back up. And Bhramari has a very soothing effect on the nervous system. One more time. And now you're welcome to let the hands come to the floor. Your knees can be a little soft here. You're welcome to let go of the back of your head. Take another breath or 2 here. And hands come back to the ankles. Inhale, lengthen your spine, float all the way back up. Walk your feet back towards each other. You can shake it out, do a little rebounding here. Really good for hydrating the fascia. And then we'll come into mountain pose. And so here's a great place again to soften or close your eyes. Let the attention leave the visual cortex and go inside so you can take a moment and notice sensations. How does your breath feel and how does your body respond to the practice? So as you're ready, please open your eyes. And again, we're going to turn back to the front of the mat here. Step your right foot forward, your left foot comfortably back. And so we're going to go back to the warrior one. One of the reasons I like to use the warrior poses when building nervous system resilience is because they bring in that embodied cognition of strength and courage, which is really helpful for for dealing with life's challenges. So for this warrior, we're going to do both arms. So on the inhale, the right knee bends, both arms come up, lifting the eyes. As you exhale, the hands float down, the right leg straightens, right? The eyes lift, spirits lift. It's useful to, the position of the eyes is important. So we're doing that one again, inhaling and exhaling. And one more time. This time we're going to stay and exhale in place. Now here's what we're going to do next. As you inhale, start to shift your weight into your right foot and peel your left foot up off the floor. As you exhale, soften your elbows, bend your right knee, and slide that left foot back down. So see if you can do this really smoothly. Inhaling and exhaling. We're going to do two more. And this next time when you come up into the pose, we're going to stay there. So on the inhale, come up into the balance pose. If you want, you can turn it into a warrior three. If you prefer, you keep your foot close to the floor. You may choose to take your arms out to the side if that helps you with your balance. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, draw the belly in. Let's do one more breath. And on your exhale, mindfully stepping that left foot back to warrior one. Take another breath here. And exhale, release your hands down. And then step your back foot forward. So this again is another good place to come into mountain pose for a couple of breaths. Just take a moment, soften your awareness. Notice sensations in the body. Notice how the earth is supporting and holding you up against gravity. And as you're ready, you can open your eyes. And now we're going to step the right foot comfortably back. And this time, the first three that we do of warrior one, the arms can come up. Now you can take the arms to the front if you like. On the inhale, floating down on the exhale. You want to think about, or to the sides. You want to think about using your inhale as a way that kind of blows you up like a balloon, right? So that's, the inhale is creating more expansion, 360-degree expansion. This time we'll stay in the pose. And soften your elbows a little bit. And then on your next inhale, start to take your weight into your left foot and peel your right foot up off the floor. And on the exhale, place it back down mindfully and come into those cactus arms. So we're going to do that 3 more times. That's the inhale. Now you can take your right leg up higher if you want, but can you keep the smooth, fluid, nervous system loving movement? That's the thing you want to focus on here. Now this next time we'll come and stay in the pose. You can make some choices about your arms if you want them to come out to the side or do cactus, that's fine. And then you can start to make some choices about your back foot too if you want to take it up a little higher. We'll do 3 more breaths. And on your last exhale, mindfully bring that foot back down, back to warrior one. Use an inhale to get taller in warrior one. And exhale, release your arms down. Step your back foot forward. And let yourself come back to mountain pose again. Now you may choose to do a little rebounding here. Shake it out, bounce it out. And then let yourself come into stillness. You're welcome to soften or close your eyes. Just take a moment to notice all of the rich sensations in your body, the feelings in the backs of your legs, perhaps, in your ankles or your feet. And that expansive feeling of the breath moving through your system. Okay, please come down to tabletop pose. Now, if you'd like, you're welcome to take a blanket and place it under your knees so you have a little support for your knees here. So the next pose we're going to do is inhale to sunbird. Now, your belly stays firm here, and you glide your chest between your upper arms. Lift your face. And then exhale, lower your forearms, and take your hips to your heels. So sunbird to child, it's called Chakravakasana. Inhale to tabletop or sunbird, and exhale to child. And then, so we did that one twice. You could keep doing that one if you want. And if you prefer, you could do inhale, tabletop, exhale, down dog. So you can choose, or you can alternate them, right? Inhale, tabletop, exhale, down dog, or child's. Let's do 2 more. Okay, last one. Now this one you're going to choose whether or not you want to stay in child's pose or down dog. It's up to you. And what we're going to do is work with the breath a little bit here. So take a breath in and feel the lengthening through your limbs and spine. As you exhale, you can soften your elbows and knees just a little bit and draw the belly in. And pause at the end of your exhale for a moment, and then inhale again. And as you exhale, a little pause at the end. 2 more. Next, inhale, mindfully place your knees back down, glide your chest between your upper arms, and exhale to child's pose. And if you were already in child's pose, you're welcome to stay there. Now, some people like to stay in child's pose, and it feels like a nice place to rest. Some people prefer to sit back up on their heels, so you can do either. And we'll use this moment for a little interoceptive awareness, so softening or closing your eyes and noticing the feelings of the prana, the feelings of the energy, perhaps in your arms, particularly if you were doing down dog. Maybe you just notice sort of globally what's going on with your breath. And maybe there are particular sensations in your feet or your ankles or the backs of your legs that you notice. When you're ready, please slide forward onto your abdomen. And we're going to do a little bit of work with an asymmetrical cobra. So your hands are near your chest, forehead on the floor. As you inhale, slide your right arm out in front, lift your chest and face and your left leg. As you exhale, bring them back in. And then left arm, right leg. And exhale back. So it's not about getting as high as you can with your arm and leg. It's just letting them glide mindfully forward and back with, very little discomfort in your back here, or no discomfort in your back, right? And then left arm, right leg. So you're not trying to crank up as high as you can. And right arm and left leg one more time. And then left arm and right leg one more time. Okay, so take a moment to rest. You could turn your face either way that's comfortable here, if you like. Put your hands under your face. And just take a moment here to notice sensations again. How does your body respond to what we just did? Now, after that asymmetry, it's great to do symmetry. So both arms and both legs in the Wonder Friends pose, and then exhaling back. Doing that again, both arms, both legs. Pause for a moment if you like. And last one. And when you finish, take a slow, mindful trip back to child's pose to notice the work you just did in your back. And then press yourself up and lie down on your back. Okay, so placing your feet flat on the floor and just kind of softening your abdomen. You don't have to press your back to the floor, but just kind of softening your abdomen here. Just take a moment. This is often called constructive rest. Just taking a moment. You could place your hands on your belly if you like to get a little softer here, particularly in the flexors and the psoas is a good pose for letting them soften. And the next practice we're going to do, again, is a little bit of this, it's contralateral movement, which is helpful for optimizing the connection between the hemispheres of the brain. So we're going to bring the knees in towards the chest and place your hands on the floor beside you. Now, when you're ready, take your right arm towards the ceiling and then the floor behind you. At the same time, push your left heel up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, float back down. So not your toes, your heel, right? So then right leg and left arm on the inhale. Exhale, floating back down. So see if you can get that smooth, fluid movement. Right arm and left leg. And there's using the breath to extend and expand the energy into your fingers and toes, back of your leg, and the whole arm and shoulder. And then left arm and right leg. Let's do one more time on each side, right arm, left leg. And left arm, right leg. And of course you might be going faster than me or slower than me. That's okay. It doesn't matter if you do a certain number of repetitions. You can always do a few more or a few less. Now, next time we're going to do both hands and both legs to bring some symmetry into the nervous system after the asymmetry. So that's the inhale and the exhale. Let's do two more. And last one. Now, if you'd like, get a little more energy in the flow here, we could stay here for 3 or 4 breaths. So soften the elbows and knees as you exhale, the belly draws in as you inhale, lengthening through the fingers and the heels, the backs of the legs, the spine. Softening on the exhale. Inhaling, lengthening. Last one. And as you exhale, soften your knees, bring your hands down, and give yourself a hug. So a little side-to-side rocking, if you like. Notice which way your head wants to go with the rocking. Maybe some circles. And you can go in both directions. And then as you're ready, place one foot down and then the other foot, and then one hand down and then the other hand down. Pause for a moment here. Feel that grounded connectedness of the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet to the earth. Okay. Now, the next one we're going to do is, again, a back bend, but this one we're going to do something different with the arms. So the right arm is going to go all the way up, and the left hand goes towards the ceiling. And as you take the right hand down, then the left hand comes down too. And then the next time, the right hand stops, and the left hand goes all the way behind you. And as you come back down, the left hand picks up the right hand, they come down together. Now, here's the back bend part. It's not really much of a back bend, but the back bend part is you lift your hips up, right? So let's try that. So on the inhale, lift the hips, left hand stops, right hand goes all the way back behind you. On the exhale, right hand comes down, picks up the left hand, and they smoothly come down together as you come down one vertebra at a time. There's a lot of things to keep in mind. Now the right hand goes towards the ceiling, the left hand goes all the way to the floor behind you, lift your hips, and then as you exhale, the left hand comes back down, picks up the right hand, they come down together. Let's do that again. Right arm. And then this time the left arm goes all the way up, the right arm stops halfway. Okay, now next two are going to be both arms going up over your head to the floor behind you. Pause for a moment and release back down. Good, last one. Now, of course, you could stay here for a few breaths if you wanted to, getting a little bit higher perhaps on the inhale, softening a little bit on the exhale. If you wanted to stay a little longer, you could. Last one. And when you release, come back down. And then we're going to give ourselves a hug again. And it might be side-to-side rocking, or it might just be a nice hug into the chest. Okay. Now, as you're ready, take the arms out to the side with the palms facing up. And we're going to do a little twisting here. So take a breath in. As you exhale, let your knees come towards the right. They don't have to come all the way down. And then on the inhale, float back up. And as you exhale, let your knees go down towards the left. Your head may turn towards the right here. And on the inhale, float back up. Now, I want to say one thing before we keep going, which is that for some people, having the feet on the floor with a little bit of width, and then just doing some slow, mindful side-to-side twisting here is much safer for the lower back and feels more comfortable and secure. So feel free to have your feet on the floor. What I would encourage you not to do is make a big arch in your lower back as you go into the twist, but rather keep the lower back a little bit neutral. When the knees are up, you don't have to worry about that as much, right? So let's try a couple more. So we're going to breathe in. As you exhale, let the legs come down to the right, head looks to the left, and maybe your legs go a little further this time. Inhaling, floating back up. And then exhaling the legs to the left as the face looks right. Inhaling, floating back up. Okay, and this time you come down, we're going to stay in the pose. So that's much more comfortable if the legs come all the way to the floor. Perhaps your left hand comes down a little closer into your back. That's often a little bit easier on the shoulder. Use your inhale to get a little bit more open, as if you're breathing into the left side of the chest. Exhale right into your belly. Let your exhale linger. So before you breathe in again, just let there be a pause. We'll do two more of those. Pausing at the end of your exhale. And then when you're ready, come on back up on your inhale and exhale in place. Take a breath here and let your legs come over to the left. Your face looks to the right. And again, you may choose to let the right hand come a little closer into your body. Using your breath particularly into the right lung, as if you're breathing into the right lung, the right armpit, the right arm here. We'll do two more breaths, and on the end of the exhale, you want to kind of linger in that exhale. Next inhale, come on back up to neutral again. And as you exhale, give yourself a hug. On your inhale, let the knees move away. Place your hands right on top of the kneecaps and exhale back in. So we're just going to do a couple more of these. Now, well, maybe three more of these. Now with each exhale, same thing we did with the twist, just linger at the end of the exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale, feel the abdomen moving in. Pause at the end of your exhale. One more time. And then go ahead and bring one foot down at a time. Okay, so for what we're going to do next, it's really great if you could use a block for this. You could also use a bolster for it. So what we're going to do is bringing the feet to the floor, lift your hips up and take your block and place it underneath your sacrum. Now, you may choose to use your block in any of the levels that's comfortable for you. So for some of you, it might feel comfortable to have it a little bit higher, for some a little lower. Notice what feels better for your body. And then we let the sacrum rest on the block and make sure that you're balanced, and then start to extend one foot up towards the ceiling and then the other. And we're going to stay here for just about 3 minutes or so. I'm actually going to come out of the pose so I can talk you through it. But this is the posture that we're trying to get into. And staying here for 3 minutes or a little bit more can have some really powerful benefits. So as you extend your legs towards the ceiling, the first thing sometimes that you might feel like doing is maybe twirling your ankles a little bit, making circles with your ankles a little bit in both directions, or some people like to separate their feet and bring them back towards each other. I think it's kind of fun to do some of that, just sort of slow, fun movements when you're in the inversion. But we do want to stay in the inversion for, a good amount of time, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Sometimes I stay in the inversion for 10 minutes. Because this has a very powerful effect on what's called the baroreflex, or the baroreceptors and the baroreflex. So the baroreflex, kind of what you're doing when you put your legs up is you're kind of tricking your system into thinking that the blood pressure is increasing. And so there's a neurochemical cascade that helps the blood pressure to come down. So inversions are really great and important practices. So we have, we're going to stay here for just like a little less than 2 more minutes. As you're staying in the pose, you are welcome to soften or close your eyes. You're welcome to find a pose that feels a little more balanced for you. Like that may be that you need to be with your mat at the wall with your legs, with the block underneath, but your legs are resting on the wall. Some people, being able to extend the legs like this actually isn't that comfortable, so we can find other things that work. Another alternative is to simply put your legs on top of the seat of a chair. That can be very beneficial. And if you have any symptoms like feeling of too much pressure in your eyes or your head, a headache, dizzy feelings, that's telling you that the inversion is too much for your body right now. Allow your breath to become a little more slow, a little subtler. See if you can soften the muscles in your face and soften and relax your jaw. Take about 2 or 3 more breaths. They don't have to be the biggest breath you ever took. Just let them be smooth and subtle, particularly focusing on emptying your exhale, so letting your exhale be complete. And then as you're ready, bring one foot down flat to the floor. And then the other foot down to the floor, and then lift up your hips and remove the block, and then we'll lie down flat for Shavasana. Okay, so when you get comfortable in your Shavasana, and feel free to put a bolster underneath your knees if you like, or a blanket on top if you like. So when you're comfortable in this pose, then we'll be here for about 5 minutes. I'll talk you through just a little bit of it, but the most of it will be just silence and stillness. So begin with some awareness of your right foot. Notice how your right foot and your right ankle feel. And then shift your awareness over to your left foot and left ankle. Notice your right shin and your right calf. And then switch your awareness over to the left shin and left calf. Right knee, left knee. Right thigh, left thigh. Right hip, left hip. Right side of the torso, left side of the torso. Right hand, left hand. Right forearm, left forearm. Right upper arm, left upper arm. Right shoulder, left shoulder. Right side of the neck, left side of the neck. Right side of the face, left side of the face. Right eye, left eye. Right ear, left ear. And then take your awareness from the crown of your head down through the center of your body, middle of your head, throat, center of your chest, center of your abdomen, center of your pelvis, and pelvic floor. Allow your whole body to continue to relax. And you'll hear my voice in about 2 minutes. Please take a slightly deeper breath. And then place one hand on your abdomen and the other hand on top of it. Imagine feelings of kindness and compassion moving from your hands into your body. as you're ready, begin to move and stretch your body however you'd like. Maybe make circles with your wrists and ankles. Maybe turn your head slowly from one side to the other. And bring your feet up flat and roll to your side. And then use both hands to gently press yourself up. You're welcome to sit on a block, a bolster, folded blanket. We're going to do just about 1 minute of a pranayama practice. So this is called Bhramari Pranayama, the Bumblebee breath, and it's the humming. We did it in the wide-legged forward bend, and it's the same kind of practice here. You don't have to take the deepest breath, and these don't have to be long Olympic breaths, just let it be smooth and subtle. That's what's important. You're welcome to let your hands rest on your lap or to fold them if that's more comfortable for you. Find the straightness in your spine. Take a nice, long, slow breath in through your nose. And then a low, deep hum. And you can let it last the length of your exhale. Let's do it again. And one more time. As you finish, take a moment to notice sensations, how the breath feels, how your body feels after your practice. And as you're ready, you can bring your palms together at your heart. We'll finish with a moment of kindness and compassion for somebody in our life who might need it right now. As if you could offer some of the fruits of your practice to that person. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me.